Hello and good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to today's seminar on communicating with impact, run by Inner Space in Covent Garden. Um, Before we start, I'm just going to suggest let's have a moment to just relax. I know it's a beautiful day out there and we've welcomed spring today. And I'm sure you've had a nice sort of day and it's been probably quite a full day. So let's just take a moment to just sit, relax, and sort of maybe be in tune with the next sort of 45 minutes, where you're giving your time to this seminar, and so allowing yourself to take the most benefit that you can. And so I'm just going to ask you, if you want to, maybe close your eyes and take a deep breath in, hold it for a few moments, and then take it out, breathe out. And once again, taking a deep breath in, holding it, and then releasing it. And we'll do it for one more time, but this time when you're releasing it, just feel as if everything that has happened through the day, which you're holding on, maybe in your shoulders, maybe in your back, your neck, your head, your stomach, wherever it is that you're holding on to in your body, just let it go. So breathe in once more, hold, feel all the energy that is blocked in your body, hold it, and then just let it go. And shake yourself and feel light and feel your body relax. Great. So we're here today, and the topic is communicate with impact, or communicating with impact. And I'm just going to start off with those two words to begin with: communicate and impact. So, first of all, communicate. What does communicate mean? And I know that one of the easiest thing that will come in our mind, or the first thing that will come in our mind, is our words. But it's the amount of communication, or I should say, it's our communication is only 7% verbal, and yet quite often we focus on the words. So yes, it's only 7%. So what is the rest of the 93%? So yes, communication, external communication, our words, and it's not just the words, but it's the tone with which we say, it's with the strength behind those words, maybe the force behind the words, or the sweetness behind the words. So there's a lot of things that are behind those words, but then also we communicate with our eyes, with our, quite often, you'll see the eyes say one thing and the face or the words say another thing. So the eyes, the face, and that's our body language. And so we're communicating with our body language, and also we're communicating with our actions. How am I sitting? Where am I looking? Um, am I leaning in? Am I just, blasé and just talking away? So all of those things are giving you my what is it that I'm trying to communicate with you. And I hope you can sense that, it's like, what's the tone of my voice? Where am I looking? How am I sitting? And you can't see my whole position, but maybe you can see my hands. You can, see that I'm leaning in and I want to communicate with you. And then, so that's all external, but it's also, there's a lot of it that's internal. And the internal, what kind of communication would that be? The internal aspect. And the internal aspect, which will then come through in the exterior. So the internal, which will flow through my body language, which will flow through my words, which will flow through my actions, is the things such as my intention. What is my intention? What is the feeling that I've come with in this conversation? Or what is the feeling inside that is then flowing through? And I mentioned sweetness. Yeah. Are my words sweet? Are my words forceful? Are my words um, loving and kind? Are my words, just offhand? So that will then flow through what's internal, my feelings, my thoughts, my intention, my energy. you know if Sometimes all have experienced this when we're alive and we're passionate and we're enthusiastic and there's a lot of zeal. You can already see the sense of difference in my voice, can't you? And when I'm going to talk about, "Oh, I'm tired and I've had a hard day and it's difficult," you can see that coming through in my words. So I'm going to lift up the energy and say, we're going to have this conversation with a lot of passion and a lot of zeal and enthusiasm. So that is what you can sense through my body, through my eyes, through my words. And so it's those vibrations, those feelings, those thoughts, that energy. And also another aspect that we don't always think about is my attitude. That's also going through, flow through into the external. And so what do you think is more important? What is it that's going to have that impact? Now that's the second word, isn't it? So we communicate, and how we communicate, and the seed, which is internal, the vibrations, the energy, the feeling, the thoughts, and then how that then flows through externally. So now what kind of impact do I want to have? And there are lots of different kinds of impact I may want to have. And this is something to be aware of. Um, am I, what is it? And when I'm talking about impact, what I mean is, how am I going to leave you? What I'm going to be conveying maybe is not important, but what is it that it leaves you with, right? So I may have something to say where, I'm being grateful, I'm being thankful, or I may have something to say where I need to just maybe correct you or point you in the right direction, or just say, maybe try doing it this way. But I can say all of those things, but it's the kind of um, impact that I want to leave you with. And is that impact going to be positive? Is that impact going to be uplifting? Is that impact going to be inspiring? Is that impact going to make you feel small? Is that impact going to make you feel bullied? Is that impact going to make you feel hurt? Is that impact going to make you feel somebody really cares about me and wants the best for me? So I can have any of those things, any of those messages that I want to convey, but what is the impact that you're left with? And one of the things that I've learned with my journey with meditation, and with the meditation that's taught by Inner Space, the Brahma Kumaris, and that meditation is, one of the key understandings within that meditation is that there is beauty and goodness within each one of us. So within that seed, within that spirit, within that soul that we all are, within us, there is beauty. And that beauty is things. And I'd say if I was to put those into sort of three words, and there are a few more words we could use, but I'd like to sort of keep it simple and just use these three words. And that is, there is love, there is peace, and there is happiness within each one of us. But how each one of us chooses to express that is then what determines what first of all, it's those thoughts, those feelings, or those vibrations, that energy. Is it as it at its purest, where it's just love, peace, and happiness? Or has it been, what would I say, colored or contorted or distorted by other things that are going on inside, and then it's being portrayed out, it's been released out as other things? So I may want to say something to you, and I'm bringing it that love or that peace when I'm talking about it, when I'm expressing it externally. And even before I express it externally, am I thinking about it with that as that seed? Or has that seed then been colored by whether it's anger or frustration or jealousy or dissatisfaction, and then that is then being portrayed out? So I'm going to give you a few examples around this, and then we'll also do a meditation around it. But the examples I want to give you are very much about how that energy is then internal energy makes a difference externally. And then secondly, how I can tap into that love, peace, and happiness. So I bring that in every interaction. And so that's the energy that impacts me, but that's also the energy that impacts others. Can you imagine, if every conversation or every connection we had with people around us, whether it was at the bus stop or whether it was on the train, maybe even nothing's been said, but it's an interaction where we've, even our eyes have connected with each other, or then it's the colleagues that we're working together with, or it's the people that we live with, or it's our neighbors, our friends, our family, all of that. What would it be? How would it be if everyone left me with that feeling of love, with that feeling of peace, with that feeling of happiness or joy? Whatever it was that needed to be said, but the impact and what it was filled with was love, peace, and happiness. How would we feel? And so this is where this, in a sense, the topic we were looking at today is, regardless of what others are doing, let me bring that into all my connections, into all my sort of interactions. So the story, and I like telling stories. I learn from stories, and I feel that when I share stories, I remember, but I think many people do. So I hope you like this story. And it's a true story. It's a story I heard, maybe about 20, maybe 30 years ago, but it's absolutely stayed with me. And so this is a story about a teacher that's newly qualified as a teacher. And so she starts in this school, and she's given this class within this particular school to look after, to teach. And as she sort of goes into the classroom for the first time, there's a list of students, and they've all got numbers next to their name, and they're all very high numbers. And so the teacher is thinking, great, all the students have a high IQ. They were all over 100. And I believe, and I think any, people who have an IQ over 100 are very intelligent. So the teacher had this absolute feeling inside that these are all very clever, very intelligent students. And so, Now, don't ask me what age they were, but in my mind, I'm thinking they're primary school kids. And so she teaches them through the whole term, and then, at the end of the term, all the teachers are together in the staff room, and they're sort of discussing each of the classes and how they've done. And so, the other teachers or the headmaster tells her the students have done very well. And she looks surprised, and she says, of course they would, they're all very intelligent, they've got high IQ, so I had no other expectation. And then the headmaster sort of asks, so are you where do you get the impression that they all have very high IQs? You realize we've given you the worst class in the year. And she goes, what do you mean the worst class in the year? They're very intelligent kids. Look, they've done really well. And so the moral of the story is that the teacher, had that understanding, had that absolute belief in her that yes, these students are really smart, these students are really clever. So she held them with that attitude, and she kept that attitude, that she didn't know any different, but she kept that attitude that they are very intelligent students. And so they proved her right. And so that was the energy that was flowing from her, and that's what reached the students, and that's what then they displayed and sort of projected back. And so, when I look at myself, when I think about myself, and the first person I communicate with is myself, isn't it? How many of, how much of our day is our own self-talk, and how we talk about ourselves, how we think about ourselves, do we look in the mirror and say, oh my God, look at that wrinkle, and look at those white hair, or look at how much weight I've put on, or that I'm, the body is not as I would like it to be? Or do I look at myself and say how beautiful I am, how intelligent I am, how powerful I am? And so, what is that attitude? What is that feeling? What is that energy that I'm sending, not just to myself as that spirit, but also to this external, to this body that I am in? Have we ever thought about that? And so, if I, in my self-talk, what is that energy? What is that vibration that I am sending to myself? Because that's having an impact, isn't it? If I'm constantly putting myself down, what kind of an impact is that happening? Is what kind of impact is that having on myself? And when I'm uplifting myself, when I am, and that doesn't mean that I say I'm perfect when I'm not, but it's talking to myself and bringing the best out in myself, and doing it with love, doing it with happiness, doing it with peace. Think about, um, if you had a child, and I'm sure many of you may, but when you talk to them with love, when you talk to them with that uh, happiness and joy, uh, and love really is the biggest one. They feel that, and they respond to that. And so when I'm loving myself, then I will respond to that. And so try it, and we'll do that in a meditation. So meditation is really very much about, I am having a conversation with myself, I am reconnecting with myself. And so the impact it has on me, and now the impact it has on others. So when I, just like that teacher, when I share with that love, when I share with that happiness and that care and that compassion, and the impact then it has on the other person, because at the end of the day, things will happen, things will continue to happen. But do I leave them inspired? Do I leave them happy? Do I leave them feeling grateful? Do I leave them enjoying life and having pleasure of life? Or do I leave them feeling small and unhappy and peaceless and upset? And that's my choice. And I ask myself, what would I like? And so that's what I would like to share. It's what I would like to experience, is what I would like to share with others. So the example of that teacher and the belief she had and the understanding she had and the vision then she kept of those students and how they lived up to that. And then the second one, in terms of uh, I'll come back to that second example. So communicate with impact. So what is that impact I want to have? And then how do I want to communicate? And we've talked about it's the seed of that communication is within. And I need to cultivate that seed of love, of peace, of happiness, of gratefulness, of compassion, of kindness that is within me. And then I bring that out. So let's do a little meditation. And then we'll do another meditation afterwards too. But let's just do a little meditation. And like I said, meditation is very much about tapping in to that beauty that's within and talking to myself, right? So it's talking to myself about that beauty that is within me. And so let's do this little meditation and just explore and feel that love that is within each one of us. It doesn't matter how my expression has been or how everything has been, because that love that is inside may be covered by a strong layer of something else that is not allowing the love to shine. But let's now use meditation to allow that love to break free so that at least I can experience it and then share it with others. So sitting comfortably, and if you want, you can look at the picture, that light behind me, and that picture just represents the soul, the spirit, the energy that we are. And if you want to, you can close your eyes too, whatever is comfortable for you. So take a deep breath in and out. Once again, taking a deep breath in and out. And sitting here, I imagine myself sitting in a beautiful garden, and there is a nice swing that I'm sitting on. And it's one of those chair kind of swings where you're gently sitting and swinging. And as you're sitting there, you're looking at that garden, and it's a beautifully manicured garden. There's trees, there's flowers, there's birds, and butterflies too. And as you look around, you see the beauty of the flowers, the colors, and actually you can also smell the fragrance that's coming from the hyacinth. and you relax even more. And now that garden is actually the beauty that is inside yourself. Love, compassion, kindness, all of this are the beautiful flowers and shrubs and trees that are within you, the spirit. And just as those physical flowers have beautiful colors and fragrances, in the same way, there is this beautiful rose shrub. It is love that is within you. And as you say that to yourself, that I have this beautiful rose which represents love within me. And it's love for myself, the appreciation I feel for myself, for the little things, for giving myself the time to meditate and to connect with myself. I am a loving being. I care about my inner state of being. And I also care about everyone and everything around me. It's love that is caring and kind, that is gentle, and this is within me. I may see it revealed at certain times, but that's okay. The more I think about it, the more I contemplate on it, the stronger it grows, and the more it shines out. I am a loving being. And so that's like an inner conversation reminding me that at the very heart of the spirit, I am loving. Yes, over time, along the journey, things have come in which have stopped me being loving, but now I want to go back to being loving. Just being love. And just think about it, when I am just being love, what is my vibration like? What is my energy like? What are my thoughts like? What are my feelings like? And so that's how I've set myself up internally, and that's what I'm feeling and thinking inside. Then externally, when I when I'm with others, through my words, through my body language, through my behavior, through my actions, what will be the impact on the other person? And it's not just the other person, it's the animals, it's nature, everything. We all know that when I'm having good feelings towards the plants will grow, the plants will thrive. Anybody heard about that Japanese scientist who experimented with water, eh, and how the crystals that the water formed were very different when they were exposed to different things. So different kinds of music, different kinds of words, different kinds of noises and sounds. And so if you're not aware of that, I'd suggest, we I don't know what it is, but just Google Japanese water crystal, Japanese scientist water crystals. And basically, even just the word love on that bottle of water, and the crystals were beautiful, and just the word hate or dislike on that bottle of water, and the impact it had on those crystals and how ugly they were. And so just even the music, when there was classical music played, and the quality of the water crystals and the beauty of the water crystals, and when there was other kinds of music being played, rock music or whatever it was, and the kind of crystals, water crystals there were. And so this is the vibration, this is the energy that is being sort of coming out, oozing out from us through the whole time. And so how do I now then make that effort, or to cultivate, I'd say to cultivate those flowers that make up my inner garden, the flowers of peace, the flowers of joy, the flowers of happiness, of sweetness. And we all have this within us. That's what it is. I don't need to go somewhere to get happiness. I don't need to go somewhere else to get joy. I don't need to go somewhere else to get kindness. I don't need to go somewhere else to get peace. It is within me. I'll tell you another story. So, uh, you know, God was saying he had this really important secret, and he didn't want human beings to know about it. And so he was talking to his advisors, and he was saying, does God need advisors? Okay, maybe not. But he was talking to his advisors and saying, where shall we hide this? And they said, hide it on the mountain. And but they said, no, human beings are very curious. They will go to the highest mountain and they'll find it. And yes, we've been to Mount Everest, and people climb up there and they found it. Another one said, hide it deep in the beneath the ocean. And no, people will find it. But then hide it inside them, and they don't look inside. And so all of these things are within us. And just as the garden that we did a little meditation on, and that inner garden, which we were talking about, it just needs a little bit of gardening every day, so that, I can remove the weeds little by little every day and take care of the plants, water them, talk to them, and I'm cultivating that, so that I am then allowing that energy of love, of peace, of joy, of happiness to flow through. So when we're talking about communicating with impact, it's really talking about cultivating that beauty that is already inside, that land that is already inside, making it a beautiful garden, so that is fragrance that I share not only with myself, but with everyone around me. It's that simple. Just cultivating and thinking about, meditating on, enjoying and appreciating that inner beauty that each one of us has. I'd also just like to share something else from my experience around this. And so, everyone, each and every one has these qualities within them. It's just sometimes there's you know a case that surrounds this garden. It's like a layer of protection from whatever we've created, and 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 so we think there's no beauty. It's there, but it's covered by the jungle. It's covered by the webs, cobwebs, and so that light, that inner light, is not shining through. And within that, one of the things that I've recently realized for myself, and it just makes so much sense to me, and it made me feel so much appreciation for everyone. And it was that each and every one has this beautiful garden, this beautiful virtues, qualities within, and each of one in our own uniqueness values different things. So you may value um, honesty and compassion and truth, and I may value love and positivity and something else. And so let me give you an example. So my sister and my sister comes in many of my talks, you'll know, because as you know, the people you live with, the people you're close to, they're the ones who are your best friend, because they expect you to be perfect, and they will point out things where you're not as perfect as you'd like to be. So she's one of my friends in that way. And so and so what she values and what I value are slightly different things. So she values orderliness, cleanliness, everything to be in its own place and completely clean and tidy. And my sort of more important value, I'd say, is maybe something like generosity. And so I'd rather be doing things and preparing things. And yes, it's not to say the house is not clean and tidy and neat, but it's not to the standard that my sister would have her house. And so one of the things I realized is that appreciate and accept that we're all unique and different, and respect each other for that. So again, what is it that I'm cultivating inside is that we're all unique, we're all different, and in those values, what you value and what I value is different, yet we all have values. And so again, when I come with that, then that judgment and expectation finishes. And so I'm able to accept everyone as they are. And so imagine, or just think about it, inside, when my thoughts and my feelings are of acceptance, of appreciation, of gratitude, then that is the vibration that they will feel. And I'd say, as an exercise to take away from today, is pick one particular value, particular quality that you really like about yourself, whether it's love, compassion, kindness, caring, something, and just nurture it, and use that for yourself. Think about it, feel, completely fill that space within you with that value and that light and that vibration, and then share it in your thoughts, share it in your vibrations, share it through your words and your actions with everyone and everything around you. And do that, even if it's for 10, 15 minutes every day, and just notice it grow, because as you're cultivating it, it is growing. and see the difference it makes in your life. And that's the key to communicating with impact. It's nothing to do with I say something and they do it. It's not that. The impact is that I leave them feeling energized. I leave them feeling good about themselves. I leave them feeling happy. It's not about me imposing my thoughts and what I believe on them, but it's them feeling good about themselves, because when they're going to feel good about themselves, that's what they're going to do for others and to others, aren't they? Right. So communicating with impact, in essence, the seed, the garden that is within me, let me cultivate that. So those are the vibrations. That's the energy that then I experience and I then share with others. So let's do another meditation. Take a deep breath in and out, allowing your thoughts to become soft and slow down. And now pick or think of one virtue, one quality, whatever it is that comes to your mind, and feel the energy of that virtue within yourself. What is the vibration of that virtue? When you think about it, when you feel about it or feel it, how does it feel? How does it make you feel? Just thinking about it. What is its vibration like? And for a moment, experience yourself floating in that vibration. And as you're thinking about it, that vibration, that energy is getting stronger and stronger. And it's as if you're lost in that feeling. And now share that light, that vibration to the world. Imagine yourself standing on top of the globe and sharing it with everyone on the planet. The vibration, the light of that quality. And I now just return back, taking another deep breath, releasing it, and just being aware how that quality has raised my energy. Thank you very much for listening today. I hope, and I'm sure you've taken something from it.